Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Howard.
Meet college student Jordan Howard, an environmental activist, public speaker, filmmaker. Oh, and yeah, she's even helped edit a book.
I hope to inspire people to change their behavior.
This Green Teen's mission to educate and inspire others to protect the planet is one we had to hear about in person. So we traveled to the coast of Southern California to chat with this multitasking powerhouse.
So this all started at your environmental charter high school. Tell us about that. Tell us about the programs offered to the students and how the whole school sort of worked.
Well, Environmental Charter High School, it's a small school in Lawndale. The purpose of the school is to teach us to be lifelong learners and to be agents of change in our community.
It was there where Howard learned about global warming in the 9th grade, but her road to eco-activism was anything but smooth.
I always got in trouble because I used to always be the only one to raise my hand and say, why are we learning this? This is not important. I don't think we need to be, you shouldn't force this upon us. I was resistant and I thought it was a movement for hippies and I thought that I had no relation to the environmental movement.
But soon she had a change of heart. Something clicked.
That I was resistant because I didn't know. I wasn't educated. I didn't really know what the solutions were to global warming. We were taught about global warming and we knew all the effects of global warming, but we didn't know what we could do to prevent global warming. I felt empowered when I learned that I could actually do something to combat global warming. I can do something in my own life, in my family's life, so that's what I started to do. I first had to change myself before I asked anyone, to change.
Once the light bulb came on, she didn't waste a second. And it didn't take long for people to know she meant business.
And then I went home and said, okay, we need to green the house. We need to start going to farmers markets and refusing plastic bags at the stores. My parents thought I was crazy, and I was just like, okay, I'll come back later. So they had to see that I wanted to make the change, and then they were they wanted to do it as well.
She took action at school too. Working with the Surfrider Foundation, she started a campaign for teens called Rise Above Plastics.
And I learned in my 10th grade year about plastics and how they were harmful for not only the environment but for human bodies because of the chemicals that are inside. I was really empowered to do something, and I was just like, okay, if I know that I'm not the only one that didn't know this before we learned this, so I wanted to create something for students where students taught students to rise above plastics.
She gathered a few dozen students and trained them to go out into the community.
So it was all for students. We ended up going to businesses, schools in our community, different schools, and we learned that, adults listen when kids are talking as well.
Right, these were teenagers.
Exactly. And teenagers listen when teenagers are talking as well.
Howard's taken her message to LA's Environmental Youth Conference, to the International Plastics Are Forever Conference, and to the TEDx series.
I use plastic all day long, so it's easy to get rid of it's easy to end plastic pollution. I mean, I use this every day. We just have to change our behavior.
And there's even more. She's also a filmmaker.
My first project was A Day in the Life. So when I was first inspired, I saw that the green movement needed education. People needed to learn because we're still in a time where there are millions and millions of people that don't even know what climate change is, and they can't explain to you what climate change is in 3 sentences. And that's a problem. That's a really big problem when we're trying to get people to change their behavior. So I said that everything that I ever want to do, I want to educate people. I just want to make sure I'm educating people. So we did that with that film. We taught people from little kids to grown-ups to teenagers how to go green in their lifestyles.
She's also doing that through the latest book she's had a hand in. It's called Green My Parents.
First thing that we teach in Green My Parents, we teach the kids how to read their electric bill and how to understand their electric bill and understand kilowatts. Because I even asked my mom one time, I was just like, while we were writing the book, do you know how to read an electric bill? And she says, I actually don't. So before we start teaching them how to save money, how to shave 10% off of their electric bill, we teach them how to understand their electric bill and understand the kilowatts that they use per month, kilowatts that they use per year. We teach them its energy, water, how to green your pets, how to green your home, how to green your clothing.
Whether it's through public speaking, movies, or the pages of a book, for Howard, it's all about educating and giving people solutions. It's also about showing teens they can make a difference.
We're just reminding kids that, you have an influence over your parents, you have an influence over your politicians.
It's a road to sustainability Howard plans to stay on for years to come.
It feels good. It feels really good.